Have you ever wondered why some people seem unshaken by life's chaos, while others crumble under pressure? Why do some rise above challenges with an unbreakable spirit, while others drown in stress and self-doubt? The answer isn't luck, intelligence, or wealth. It's mindset. Specifically, a mindset forged by Stoic philosophy, one of the most powerful ways to master life's difficulties. For over 2,000 years, Stoicism has been a secret weapon for the world's greatest minds, from Roman emperors like Marcus Aurelius to modern leaders, athletes, and military strategists. This philosophy isn't about suppressing emotions or becoming robotic. It's about mastering the one thing that truly belongs to you, yourself. Most people live like puppets, controlled by their emotions, external events, and the opinions of others. But the Stoics saw things differently. They believed that happiness, strength, and peace come not from controlling the world, but from mastering how we respond to it. And the best part? These principles aren't abstract theories. They are simple, actionable, and immediately life-changing. If you apply them, you will not be the same person tomorrow. Are you ready? Let's begin. 1. Master your mind, or it will master you. Marcus Aurelius, in Meditations, Book 5, Section 19, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Yet most people live as if the opposite is true. They blame their stress on external events, their failures on bad luck, and their unhappiness on circumstances beyond their control. But what if the real enemy is not the outside world, but the way you think about it? Picture this. It's a terrible day. You wake up late. You spill coffee on your shirt. The rain is pouring, and you forgot your umbrella. The office is chaos, and your inbox is overflowing with urgent emails. By noon, you're convinced this is just one of those days. But here's the truth. The events themselves are neutral. What's causing your suffering is not the rain, the emails, or the spilled coffee. It's the story you tell yourself about them. A Stoic doesn't allow their mind to be hijacked by external events. They understand that no situation is inherently bad. It is only our perception that makes it so. This is not just philosophy. It's modern psychology. Cognitive behavioral therapy, one of the most effective forms of therapy today, is based on this very idea. It's not what happens to you. It's what you believe about what happens to you. Change your thoughts and you change everything. Consider Viktor Frankl, the Austrian psychiatrist who survived the horrors of Nazi concentration camps, stripped of everything, his family, his freedom, his dignity. He realized there was one thing his captors could never take away: his ability to control his thoughts. In his book, Man's Search for Meaning, he wrote that the final human freedom is the ability to choose one's attitude in any given circumstance. If a man facing starvation and torture could control his mind, what excuse do you have? Your mind is either your most powerful weapon or your most destructive enemy. If you don't control it, it will control you. It will pull you into a cycle of overthinking, anxiety, and emotional reactions that make life harder than it needs to be. The problem is, most people never train their minds. They train their bodies, their careers, even their pets. But they let their minds run wild, reacting impulsively to every challenge, every negative comment, every inconvenience. Imagine holding a glass of water at arm's length. It's light at first, but the longer you hold it, the heavier it feels. Now imagine carrying every worry, every frustration, every stressor in your mind, day after day. The weight doesn't come from the water itself. It comes from holding on to it for too long. Let it go. A master of their mind does not waste time obsessing over things they cannot control. The flight is delayed? Good. More time to read a book. Someone insults you? Good. A chance to practice patience. Your plans fall apart? Good. An opportunity to adapt. This is how a Stoic thinks. But controlling the mind is not about suppressing emotions or pretending bad things don't happen. It's about choosing how you respond. The next time you feel angry, anxious, or overwhelmed, pause. Take a breath. Ask yourself, is this within my control? If yes, take action. If no, let it go. It's that simple. The truth is, you already have everything you need to be calm, unshaken, and in control. But like any skill, mental mastery takes practice. If you don't train it, your mind will remain weak, reacting emotionally, spiraling into negativity, and making life harder than it needs to be. Today, start training. Catch your thoughts before they control you. Challenge the beliefs that make you suffer. Let go of the things that don't serve you. You cannot control the world, but you can always control yourself. And when you do, you become unstoppable. 2. Control your reactions, not the world. Epictetus in Discourses, Book 1, Chapter 1, wrote, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This is one of the most powerful Stoic truths, yet the hardest for most people to accept. We live under the illusion that if we could just change our external world, make people act the way we want, prevent every inconvenience, control every outcome, then we would finally be happy. But that is a battle no one can win. The only true power we have is over our own reactions. A flight gets delayed. Someone insults you. A job opportunity falls through. Most people react automatically. Anger, frustration, stress. They see these things as bad, as if life has personally attacked them. But a Stoic sees reality differently. They understand that the event itself is neutral. It is neither good nor bad. It is our judgment about the event that creates suffering. Imagine two people stuck in the same traffic jam. One pounds the steering wheel, yelling at drivers, checking the time every second. The other turns on a podcast, breathes deeply, and accepts that they will arrive when they arrive. Same situation, two completely different experiences. What changed? Not the traffic, the reaction. This isn't just philosophy, it's neuroscience. The brain has a built-in negativity bias, meaning we instinctively react to stress with fear and frustration. But modern psychology confirms what the Stoics knew. We can train our minds to respond differently. By pausing before reacting, we engage the prefrontal cortex, the rational part of our brain, rather than letting the emotional brain hijack our behavior. James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, suffered a devastating baseball accident in high school when a bat struck his face, leading to severe brain trauma. He lost his ability to function normally for months, struggling to breathe, move, and even think clearly. It would have been easy to give in to frustration and despair, but instead of focusing on what he had lost, he chose to focus on what he could control: small, consistent improvements. Day by day, he rebuilt his strength, relearned basic motor skills, and eventually returned to baseball. His relentless commitment to small daily progress led him to become an academic scholar, and later one of the most influential voices on personal transformation. His story embodies the Stoic principle that while we cannot always control what happens to us, we can always control how we choose to respond. Most people live like puppets, their emotions controlled by outside forces, other people's opinions, unexpected problems, minor inconveniences. But once you understand this principle, you take back your power. The rude comment, it's just words. The bad day, it's just another day. The lost opportunity, it's just redirection. You don't have to react emotionally to everything. You can choose. But knowing this is not enough. You must train yourself to pause before reacting. The next time something upsets you, stop and ask, will this matter a year from now? Is my reaction helping me or hurting me? If I were a Stoic, how would I respond? By doing this, you weaken the grip of emotional reactivity and strengthen the ability to act rationally. Over time, you build an unshakable mindset, where nothing, not insults, delays, or disappointments, can disturb your peace. This is what the world's strongest minds do. Nelson Mandela, after 27 years in prison, walked free without bitterness. Marcus Aurelius, ruling an empire during plagues and wars, remained calm and wise. These individuals refused to let circumstances define them. They controlled the one thing they could, their response. And so can you. 3. Simplify your life. Less is more. Seneca, in Letters to Lucilius, wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." Most people spend their lives chasing more money, more possessions, more status, believing that the next purchase, the next promotion, or the next upgrade will finally bring happiness. But has it ever? The Stoics knew a truth that modern society refuses to accept. The more you own, the more your possessions own you. Think about the last time you bought something expensive. Maybe it was a new phone, a designer item, or a fancy car. How long did that excitement last? A few days? A few weeks? Then it faded, and suddenly you wanted something else. This is the trap of hedonic adaptation. The more you acquire, the more you want. You never reach satisfaction because your mind is always looking for the next thing. Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world, has lived in the same modest house in Omaha, Nebraska since 1958. Despite his immense wealth, he drives a simple car, eats breakfast from McDonald's, and avoids luxury for the sake of luxury. Why? Because he understands that real wealth isn't about excessive spending. It's about financial wisdom and self-sufficiency. He once said, "If you buy things you do not need, soon you will have to sell things you need." True freedom, as Buffett demonstrates, doesn't come from accumulating more, but from mastering the ability to live well with less. His focus on simplicity and long-term thinking, rather than material excess, has allowed him to maintain both financial and mental freedom. The illusion of success has convinced people that happiness is in bigger houses, fancier vacations, and higher salaries. But look at the richest people in the world. Many of them are stressed, overworked, and miserable. They are trapped by their own excess. The Stoics had a different approach. Instead of seeking more, they focused on better. Imagine if you removed everything unnecessary from your life. How much lighter would you feel? The clutter in your home, the endless obligations, the toxic relationships, the mindless consumption. Each of these things drains your mental energy. When you simplify, you create space for what truly matters. Minimalism isn't about deprivation, it's about clarity. It's about making room for experiences over possessions, relationships over status, and peace over chaos. When Steve Jobs returned to Apple, he walked into a company drowning in complexity, hundreds of products, countless distractions. His first move, he cut everything unnecessary, reducing Apple's focus to just a few core products. That decision made Apple one of the most successful companies in history. The same principle applies to life. The more distractions you eliminate, the more energy you have to focus on what truly matters. If you want to simplify your life, start by eliminating what does not add value. Look around your room. How many things do you own that you don't use? Every object takes up space in your home and in your mind. The same applies to commitments. How many meetings, obligations, and tasks fill your calendar without bringing any real benefit? Let go. Say no. Free yourself from the weight of excess. Simplifying your life doesn't mean living like a monk. It means making intentional choices about what you keep and what you let go. It means recognizing that the most valuable things in life, time, health, relationships, and purpose, are not things at all. A life focused on essentials is a life of freedom. The less you need, the less you fear losing. The less you chase, the more you can enjoy. The less you consume, the more time and energy you have to create, to connect, and to live fully. Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing that everything stressing you out was optional. The debt, the overpacked schedule, the need to impress others, none of it was necessary. You were free all along. Why? 4. Your time is your most valuable asset. Time is the only resource you can never earn back. Money lost can be regained. Relationships can be rebuilt. But once time is gone, it's gone forever. Yet most people waste it as if they have an unlimited supply, mindlessly scrolling, binge-watching shows they don't even enjoy, or saying yes to commitments that add no real value to their lives. Imagine if every morning $86,400 was deposited into your bank account. By midnight, whatever you didn't use would disappear. Would you waste it on meaningless things? Of course not. Yet, every single day, you receive 86,400 seconds, only to let them slip away on distractions. If you knew you had just a year left to live, would you spend it differently? Most people would. They'd prioritize meaningful experiences, relationships, and personal growth. The tragedy is, we don't know how much time we have left, yet we live as if we have forever. Look around. How many people are actually present in their own lives? Couples at dinner scrolling through their phones instead of talking. Families watching TV instead of connecting. The days blur into weeks, weeks into months, and before they realize it, years have passed, filled with distractions but lacking real meaning. Sarah, a single mother working 2 jobs, always believed she had no time for her dreams. Every day was consumed by work, bills, and exhaustion. She kept telling herself, "One day I'll make time for myself." But when a doctor diagnosed her with a serious illness, everything changed. She realized the perfect moment to start would never come. She had to create it. She started waking up earlier to write the book she always dreamed of, spent more intentional time with her son, and stopped wasting time on trivial things. A year later, she wasn't just healthier, she had published her first book. She proved that no one is too busy, it's just a matter of priorities. Most people live as if they are immortal, delaying what truly matters until someday. But someday isn't promised. If you don't make time for what matters now, when will you? Successful people treat time differently. They don't let distractions steal their focus. They guard their calendars as fiercely as they guard their finances. They say no to what doesn't serve them, so they have time for what does. They understand that productivity isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters most. This doesn't mean working non-stop. It means eliminating the unnecessary. It means prioritizing what truly adds value. Deep work, exercise, meditation, quality time with loved ones, and self-improvement. Seneca warned against the illusion of a long life. He wrote that people complain about having little time, yet waste so much of it. His advice? Live now, don't wait. Think about how much time you lose each day. How often do you check your phone for no reason? How many meetings could have been emails? How much time do you spend worrying about things you can't change instead of taking action? Just one wasted hour a day adds up to 365 hours a year, over 15 full days gone forever. What if you took control? What if you treated time with the same urgency as someone who knows they don't have much left? Here's how you can apply Stoicism to master your time. First, track your time. Most people underestimate how much they waste. Keep a journal for a week. Write down what you did every hour. You'll be shocked at how little of it truly matters. Next, eliminate one useless activity. Maybe it's scrolling social media before bed, gossiping at work, or watching TV instead of working on your goals. Cutting just one wasteful habit can give you back hours of your life. Then schedule what's important. Instead of saying, "I'll work out when I have time," make time. Instead of saying, "I'll call my parents soon," put it in your calendar. What gets scheduled gets done. If it's not on your calendar, it's not a priority. Finally, embrace stillness. Most people think being busy means being productive, but constant activity doesn't mean progress. If you're always rushing, always distracted, always consuming, you leave no space to think deeply or be truly present. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in history happened during moments of stillness. Learn to sit with your thoughts. Learn to disconnect from the chaos. In the end, what do you want your life to be filled with? Meaningful moments or wasted time? Deep work or shallow distractions? Real connections or endless scrolling? The answer is in your hands. 5. Take care of your body. A strong mind needs a strong body. The body should be treated more rigorously, that it may not be disobedient to the mind. Seneca, Moral Letters to Lucilius. A weak body creates a weak mind. A sluggish body slows down thinking. A tired body makes decisions clouded by exhaustion. The Stoics understood that discipline over the body leads to discipline over the mind. If you cannot control your own health, how can you control anything else in life? Imagine waking up every day exhausted, hitting the snooze button 5 times, skipping breakfast, and dragging yourself through the day, fueled by caffeine and processed food. This is not just a bad habit. It's a slow decline into weakness, both physical and mental. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful emperors in history, made time for physical training because he knew that a strong body supports a strong will. Too many people see self-care as a luxury, but it is a necessity. You do not have to train like an Olympic athlete, but you must train. You do not have to eat like a nutritionist, but you must eat well. Your mind depends on your body, and your body depends on your choices. Take the example of David Goggins, a man who transformed himself from an overweight, depressed individual into one of the toughest endurance athletes on the planet. He did not just train his body, he trained his mind through his body. Running ultra-marathons, enduring extreme pain, pushing past his limits every single day, he proved that the human body can be a tool for mental mastery. He once said, "You are in danger of living a life so comfortable and soft that you will die without ever realizing your true potential." Comfort is killing people. Sitting all day at a desk, eating whatever is convenient, skipping exercise because it's too hard. This is not just physical weakness, it's a mindset of surrender. The Stoics did not believe in surrendering to weakness. They trained in hardship. Seneca advised his students to expose themselves to discomfort regularly. Fasting, cold exposure, physical labor, not to suffer, but to remain resilient. If you are undisciplined with your body, you will be undisciplined in your actions, thoughts, and decisions. Strength is built in repetition. The more you challenge your body, the more you train your mind. Instead of waiting until you are sick to care about your health, start today. Start small, but be consistent. A daily walk becomes a run. A stretch becomes a workout. One healthy meal becomes a new lifestyle. The real reason people do not take care of their bodies is not time, money, or genetics. It is mindset. A mindset that seeks comfort, that fears effort, that avoids discipline. But if you master your body, you will master your life. What would your life look like if you woke up full of energy, clear-headed and strong every day? Your body is not a burden, it is a tool. And the stronger it is, the stronger you become in every other area of life. 6. Build financial independence. Control your money. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Epictetus, Discourses. Financial freedom is not about having millions in the bank. It is about not being a slave to money, not lying awake at night worrying about bills, not feeling trapped in a job you hate just because you need the paycheck. It is about choice, control, and independence. Most people do not have a money problem. They have a spending problem. They live paycheck to paycheck, not because they lack income, but because they spend beyond their means, chasing temporary pleasure at the expense of long-term security. Epictetus knew that true wealth was not about accumulating more, it was about needing less. The fewer unnecessary desires you have, the richer you become. Think about the people who appear rich. Flashy cars, designer clothes, luxury vacations. Many of them are drowning in debt. Now think about someone like Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world, who still lives in the modest house he bought in 1958. He understands that financial independence comes from controlling your money, not from showing off your wealth. Financial freedom starts with discipline. If you do not manage your money, someone else will, whether it is banks, advertisers, or employers, keeping you locked in a cycle of work and consumption. Most people work for money their entire lives. The Stoic approach is different. Make money work for you. Start by eliminating unnecessary expenses. Look at your bank statements. How much of your spending is actually necessary? How much is mindless consumption driven by impulse, boredom, or social pressure? Every dollar you spend is a vote for the life you want. Do you want to be financially free, or do you want to be owned by your material desires? Saving money is not about deprivation, it is about freedom. Every dollar saved is a step toward independence. Every investment is a step toward buying back your time. The richest people in the world are not the ones with the most money. They are the ones who control their time. To build financial resilience, adopt the Stoic mindset of voluntary simplicity. Seneca practiced living with little to prove to himself that he could survive on less. He believed that wealth should serve you, not enslave you. You do not have to live in poverty, but you must break the addiction to excess. If you lost your income today, how long could you survive? If the answer is not long, you are financially vulnerable. The solution: build an emergency fund. Save at least 10% of your income every month. More if you can. Invest in assets that grow over time instead of liabilities that drain your wealth. Learn how money works, because ignorance is expensive. Financial independence is not about luck, it is about habits. The habits of saving instead of spending, of investing instead of consuming, of thinking long-term instead of chasing immediate gratification. If you do not master these habits, you will always be at the mercy of financial stress. The Stoics understood that true wealth is measured not by how much you have, but by how little you need. If you want to be rich, do not focus on earning more, focus on needing less. Money alone will never be enough if your desires keep growing. But if you can be content with what is essential, you will always be wealthy, no matter your bank balance. Imagine a life where money is no longer a source of anxiety, where you are in control of your finances instead of being controlled by them. That life is possible, but it requires discipline. It requires a shift from consuming to creating, from spending to investing, from seeking more to appreciating enough. 7. Give time to those who matter. Time is the most valuable currency you have, and yet most people spend it as if it were infinite. They chase career success, wealth, and external validation while neglecting the relationships that truly give life meaning. The reality is, money can be earned back, but time spent is gone forever. You can always make more money, but you can never buy back lost moments with those who matter. Imagine a future version of yourself, wealthy, accomplished, respected. But now imagine that in your pursuit of success, you neglected your relationships. You missed birthdays, skipped family dinners, ignored old friends. Now you sit alone in a house filled with luxuries but empty of warmth. What good is success if you have no one to share it with? In his meditations, Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself of life's impermanence. He knew that death could come at any moment, and that meant he had to live with urgency. Not in the frantic pursuit of more, but in the deep appreciation of what already existed: his family, his friends, his people. The Stoics understood that relationships are not distractions. They are the foundation of a meaningful life. How often do we tell ourselves, "I'll call my parents tomorrow," "I'll visit my friend next month," or "I'll spend more time with my kids when I'm less busy"? But tomorrow becomes next week, next month becomes next year, and before we realize it, the opportunity is gone. Regret is the heaviest burden, and it often comes too late. Think about the last conversation you had with someone you care about. Were you truly present, or were you distracted, checking your phone, thinking about work, mentally somewhere else? We live in an age where people are physically together but emotionally absent. The greatest gift you can give to someone is your full attention. Look at the lives of those who regret the most. It is rarely about missed career opportunities or financial mistakes. It is about people they lost, time they wasted, and love they failed to express. The Stoics knew this well, which is why they practiced memento mori, the reminder that life is fleeting. They embraced death not as a morbid thought, but as a tool to live fully, to prioritize what truly matters. Jim Carrey, despite his immense success, once spoke about how his father sacrificed his dreams for financial stability, but still lost everything. This made Carrey realize that security is an illusion, and if you have to take risks, take them in things that truly matter. And what matters more than the people in your life? Being too busy is an excuse we tell ourselves to avoid discomfort. It is easy to send a text instead of having a real conversation. It is convenient to delay seeing our loved ones in favor of work or entertainment. But every time we choose distractions over relationships, we push away the very people who make life meaningful. Start today. Call your parents, even if just for a few minutes. Reach out to an old friend. Put your phone away during dinner. Be fully present with your loved ones. Imagine if this was your last conversation with them. How would you want to be remembered? The Stoic path is not just about personal mastery and resilience. It is also about wisdom in knowing what truly matters. No achievement, no amount of money, no external success will ever replace deep, meaningful connections. Time is slipping through your fingers every second. Make sure you are spending it where it truly counts. 8. Help others. The fastest way to transform your life. No man is an island. Seneca, Letters to Lucilius. The quickest way to transform your life is not through wealth, power, or personal success. It is through service. Helping others is not just an act of kindness. It is a direct path to purpose, fulfillment, and deep personal growth. The paradox of life is that the more you give, the richer you become. Not in material wealth, but in meaning and inner peace. In a world obsessed with self-promotion, competition, and personal gain, people often forget that true strength is not measured by how much you accumulate, but by how much you contribute. The Stoics understood that a meaningful life is one that extends beyond the self. They believed that the greatest use of wisdom and strength is to serve others, to uplift those in need, and to leave the world better than we found it. Look at the most admired figures in history: leaders, philosophers, revolutionaries. The ones who are remembered are not those who amassed the most wealth or status, but those who dedicated their lives to something greater than themselves. Marcus Aurelius, despite being the most powerful man in the Roman Empire, wrote in Meditations that his duty was not to indulge in pleasure or personal gain, but to serve others with justice and wisdom. If you want to experience real transformation, shift your focus from what you can take to what you can give. Helping others forces you out of your own problems, allowing you to see a broader perspective. It reminds you that suffering is universal, that struggles are not unique to you, and that by lifting someone else, you lift yourself. Studies in psychology confirm what the Stoics already knew. Acts of kindness and generosity activate the brain's reward system, releasing dopamine and serotonin. This is why people who dedicate time to volunteering, mentorship, or simple daily acts of kindness report higher levels of happiness and life satisfaction. Helping others is not just about altruism, it is about aligning with human nature. Yet many people hesitate to give because they believe they do not have enough time, enough money, enough resources. But helping others is not about grand gestures. It does not require wealth, status, or influence. It requires intention, a simple smile to a stranger, a moment of listening to someone in pain, a small act of generosity. These tiny moments create ripples, and ripples create waves. Consider the story of Narayanan Krishnan, a renowned chef in India who left his high-paying career to feed the homeless. He saw people starving on the streets and made a choice. Instead of pursuing personal success, he would dedicate his life to serving them. Today, he has served millions of meals and transformed countless lives, not just of the people he helps, but of himself. His story is a testament to the Stoic belief that virtue is found in action, not words. Helping others is the fastest way to shift your mindset. It breaks the cycle of self-absorption, entitlement, and dissatisfaction. When you step outside yourself to serve, you stop seeing the world through the lens of lack and start seeing it through the lens of abundance. You realize that no matter how little you think you have, you still have something to give. The challenge is simple. Do one act of kindness today without expecting anything in return. Help someone struggling. Offer a word of encouragement. Share your knowledge. Be the person who brings value instead of always seeking it. The Stoics believed that the greatest test of wisdom is not how much you know, but how much you apply. And the greatest application of wisdom is in service to others. You will not only transform someone else's life, but in doing so, you will transform your own. 9. Focus on what's good. Train your mind for gratitude. The world is full of suffering, uncertainty, and loss. No one escapes hardship. Yet, despite this universal reality, some people remain joyful and resilient, while others drown in negativity and despair. What separates them? It is not luck, wealth, or external circumstances. It is focus. Every moment of your life, you have a choice. Will you dwell on what is missing, or will you focus on what is present? Gratitude is not just a moral virtue, it is a mental discipline. The Stoics understood this deeply. They saw gratitude not as a passive feeling but as an active choice, a perspective that must be cultivated daily. Most people are trapped in a cycle of dissatisfaction. They always need something more, a better job, more money, a different body, a new relationship. But when they get what they want, they quickly adapt and crave the next thing. This is called the hedonic treadmill, and it guarantees that no matter how much you achieve, you will never feel fulfilled. But there is an escape. The way to break free from this endless cycle is to train your mind to see what is already good. Gratitude rewires your brain. Neuroscience shows that people who practice gratitude consistently have lower stress, better sleep, and stronger relationships. Gratitude is not just about feeling better, it is about transforming the way you experience life itself. Think about someone like Nick Vujicic, a man born without arms or legs. By all conventional standards, he should be miserable. And yet he radiates happiness, strength, and resilience. Why? Because he chooses gratitude. He does not focus on what he lacks, but on what he has, the ability to inspire, to love, to impact lives. His story is proof that gratitude is not about circumstances, but about perspective. But cultivating gratitude is not easy. The human brain is wired for negativity. It evolved to detect threats, to focus on what is wrong. This negativity bias kept our ancestors alive, but today it keeps us miserable. To counteract this, you must actively train your mind to seek what is good. Instead of letting your mind default to complaints, teach it to default to appreciation. When you wake up, do not reach for your phone and start comparing your life to strangers on social media. Instead, take a moment to recognize the simple yet profound gifts you already have. The ability to breathe, to think, to move. These are things that millions of people wish they had. When something goes wrong, do not just react with frustration. Pause. Ask yourself, is there anything good in this situation? Maybe the traffic jam gave you time to reflect. Maybe the rejection pushed you toward a better opportunity. Maybe the loss taught you to cherish what remains. Every challenge contains a hidden lesson if you train your mind to look for it. But gratitude is not just about thoughts, it is about actions. The most grateful people are not those who talk about gratitude, but those who live it. They express appreciation, not just in private, but to others. They do not take people for granted. They say thank you, not as a formality, but with genuine recognition. They do not just feel blessed, they bless others. If you want to start rewiring your mind for gratitude, commit to a simple practice. Every morning, write down 3 things you are grateful for. This sounds small, but over time, it shifts your focus. Instead of constantly noticing what is wrong, you will start noticing what is right. You will begin to see abundance instead of lack. And when you master this, life itself transforms, not because the world changes, but because you do. 10. Embrace change. Let go of what no longer serves you. Life is always in motion. Nothing stays the same. Seasons shift, people grow, and circumstances evolve. Yet many of us resist change as if we can freeze time. The harder we cling to what was, the more we suffer. The Stoics understood this well. Resisting reality leads to misery, while embracing change unlocks true freedom. How many times have you held on to something that no longer served you? A relationship that had run its course, a job that drained you, or a belief that kept you stuck? The truth is, nothing is permanent. The more we fight change, the more we create our own suffering. But when we accept it, we open ourselves to new possibilities. Most people fear change because it feels like loss. But the Stoics remind us that loss is often just a shift in perspective. What seems like an ending is usually making room for something better. A closed door leads to a new path. A setback forces growth. A painful transition reveals hidden strength. Life is always moving forward, and suffering comes from resisting that movement. Imagine holding a rope that's burning your hands. The tighter you grip, the more pain you feel. The logical solution? Let go. Yet in life, we do the opposite. We hold on to grudges, expired dreams, and toxic attachments because letting go feels like failure. But it's not failure, it's freedom. It's choosing peace over unnecessary pain. Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon, is a modern example of this mindset. He walked away from a high-paying Wall Street job to start Amazon, embracing uncertainty instead of clinging to security. He sacrificed short-term profits to build long-term success. Later, he stepped down as CEO, recognizing that change was necessary for both his company and personal growth. If he had feared change, Amazon would not exist today. He didn't just accept change, he used it. So how can you embrace change when every instinct tells you to resist it? First, shift your perspective. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "How can this serve me?" Every change, no matter how painful, offers an opportunity. A breakup forces you to grow. A job loss pushes you towards something better. A failure strengthens your resilience. When you stop labeling change as good or bad and simply see it as life unfolding, it becomes easier to handle. Next, detach from outcomes. Much of our suffering comes from expecting life to go a certain way. We create mental blueprints of how things should be, and when reality doesn't match, we panic. But Stoicism teaches us to let go of rigid expectations. Instead of trying to control life, focus on how you respond. If plans fall apart, adapt. If something is taken from you, trust that it was never truly yours to keep. Lastly, practice impermanence. Every morning, remind yourself, nothing lasts forever. This isn't meant to cause anxiety, it's meant to deepen appreciation. When you realize time is fleeting, you stop holding grudges, delaying happiness, or fearing the unknown. You start living fully, embracing each moment and each change as it comes. The people who suffer the most are not those who face the most challenges, but those who resist life's natural flow. They stay in jobs they hate, relationships that drain them, and mindsets that imprison them. The ones who thrive are those who move with life, not against it. They let go when it's time. They trust that even uncomfortable change is leading them somewhere meaningful. So ask yourself, what are you holding on to that no longer serves you? What change have you been resisting? Instead of fearing it, can you see it as an invitation for growth? Because in the end, the only constant in life is change. The sooner you embrace it, the freer you become. You've just discovered one of life's greatest truths. Inner peace doesn't come from others, it comes from mastering yourself. The world will change, people will leave, and circumstances will shift. But if you build strength within, nothing can truly shake you. True independence is not about isolation, it's about standing firm, whether you're surrounded by people or completely alone. But knowing this isn't enough. Knowledge alone won't set you free. Reflection alone won't transform you. Only action will. You can either keep depending on external validation, clinging to relationships out of fear, or you can begin the journey to self-mastery. where no rejection, no loss, and no loneliness can break you. So, what will you choose? Will you keep letting the outside world dictate your peace, or will you train yourself to be free? The decision is yours. Here's a challenge. Spend 1 hour today in solitude. No distractions, just you, your thoughts, and this question: if I lost everything, would I still be at peace? If the answer is no, start building that peace now. Now, I want to hear from you. What is one step you'll take towards self-sufficiency? Comment below. I read every response. And if this video resonated with you, like, share, and subscribe to spread this message to those who need it. And before you go, remember Epictetus's words: "No man is free who is not master of himself." Will you be free?